Welcome back, everybody. Thursday night political hot seat. Live calling show at 727-8750. Once again, 727-8750. We do have a caller on the line. Can you hear us? Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Can now.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Kunzi. Hi, Bill. It's Marla once more.
Okay.
I have a question. Mr. Kunzi, what do you hope to accomplish or continue to accomplish as DA over the next 4 years?
Well, thanks, Marla. I think that's a great question. And, one of the things that, I think we've done a lot of changes in the office. I like the direction we're going. So I don't really necessarily see a lot of, need for structural changes and where we're going. But there's been a few things that I had hoped to accomplish by now that I think would really help. And one of the main issues that I had been really pushing for, and I still think it's an issue, a couple of issues, is one, it is taking too long to get cases, through the system and, to a trial. And I would like to work closely with the courts. We've made a lot of improvements, but I think we can make better improvements to really try to speed the process up. And one of the other big issues that I've tried to get accomplished, and I've had some discussions with the sheriff's office. I would really, really like to see us put in place a work program that can be overseen by the sheriff's office. I am a huge proponent of community service. I think particularly with these, lesser crimes, I would rather see these people out there doing community service instead of sitting in jail, where we're basically, buying their food and providing them housing. And a lot of jurisdictions have it where they basically are required to report to the sheriff's office on their days off from work. They're required to work, like an 8-hour shift. They're put out on projects throughout the county that the sheriff's office would coordinate. We can charge them a fee basically for being referred to this program. And I really think in particular with cases like domestic violence and with DUIs in particular, it bothers me that a lot of times what will happen is they get maybe 48 hours in jail. They check in on Friday and then they check out on Sunday, and they basically spend 3/4 of their time sleeping. I would rather do that 48 hours where they got to give us 6 days of out there working 8-hour shifts on their days off, not at their convenience, but as we require them to do. And I think that'll be a better deterrent in keeping people because again, in a lot of respects, I just don't know that some of these jail sentences are really deterrents. But if we start inconveniencing people on their days off, make them come in, make them work their dead off, I really think that that's a much better solution. And we've had discussions with the Justice Court to really try to put that in place. They can go over and do work at the senior center, and there's a lot of different things that we can do. And I don't even care if it's just picking up cigarette butts every day over at the park.
Well, road cleanup
road cleanup is a little bit tricky since there have been so many issues with people getting killed. But there's a lot of work that I know we can do in this community, and so that was something that I had hoped to have put in place in my first term, and we just haven't quite been able to put it together. But we are having those discussions now and trying to work, and I think that would really improve a lot of what we do.
Well, yeah. Well, you got the parks and that out here, so work around the parks. I don't know, trimming trees or something. Well, you might cut their finger, but I mean, anything that you could get them to do that would save the county employee or town employees time on doing something, even a fall festival, they could go around and pick up the trash.
Well, yeah, just as an example, the city of Reno has a really good program that's operated through their sheriff's office. And, they have to show up every morning, that they have to do their duty. And, they take them out and, they'll in Reno, they'll go over and clean up like the Reno Livestock Event Center. Or if they have an event or something like that, so maybe they're cleaning up, they're sweeping up the stands. But even here, I think we could, work with groups that, we have some elderly citizens that can't get yard work done. So we take a work crew over there and have them pull weeds, clean up somebody's property. I just think that's a far better solution than just simply putting them in jail, because I think most people will find it to be more inconvenient and a better deterrent.
Well, you know, up in Reno, they could give them a shovel and shovel snow too. I mean, you know, it's not always summer there, but that's, you know, and oh, folks out there, I'm sorry. I'm going to come up with a trivia question. So after our next break, I'm going to have to talk to Brian about what we could come up with a trivia question. I'd like to really know what the word police means. I mean, I need to discuss this with him because I heard something how it started back in New York, but years ago, back in the early 1800s. But anyhow, we will come up with a trivia question for that $20 gift certificate at Big Sky Barbecue. But that'll be after the next break because I don't even have no idea in the world, you know. Or you could call in and tell me what the score is on the football game. Or, you know, and oh, in a few weeks, something I need to know. Where's all the locations that you get these early tickets for the fall festival for the kids? I normally buy 10 of them and I give them away, and I'm having a difficult time on even finding who's handling them besides the Chamber of Commerce, which I'm normally asleep when they're open and they're normally closed when I'm awake. So anyway, any of those things anybody knows the answer to. And we'll see, that Thursday night, I think we're going to have a wide open night. Anybody wants to come on TV, let's see, what is that, the 25th of...
25th, yeah.
Yeah, that Thursday night. Anybody wants to come on TV, I don't care who you are. If you're a politician, you're not a politician. If you're somebody that's sitting there saying, gee, I want to get on TV, you come on down and get on TV because the Fall Festival will be coming. And I didn't think it would be fair to schedule somebody on that night because everybody's setting up booths and getting ready to... I mean, I suppose you probably have something going on down there.
I'll definitely have a booth there.
Yeah, so I just figure if somebody comes in for 5, 10, 15 minutes and wants to say something, they can, and then... Otherwise, if you leave it up to me, really, I don't got a whole lot to talk about, you know. I could talk about the Civil War when you get as old as me and the flag man, but, you know, outside of that. Anyway, back plea bargains, you say it's good because you could get a good conviction out of it and save a lot of time and money and effort, you know, over the whole thing. Do you look more towards the felonies to get them out of the way, or do you plea bargain on misdemeanors, or is there such a thing? I never heard of that. But.
No, we actually plea bargain quite a few of the misdemeanors too, but you know, some of it really depends on what you really talk about in negotiations. I mean, I have a very strict policy with regards to domestic violence cases and DUIs. We do not negotiate. The negotiation is maybe the punishment, but unlike, you know, other counties, in particular Clark County, I have a hard time with DUIs and domestic violence cases that you're going to be convicted of a DUI or a domestic violence unless we can't prove the case. If there's some reason why we can't prove it, that is the only way any of my deputies are permitted to negotiate into those cases down to like a reckless driving or something of that nature. There's just, to me, no excuse for domestic violence. There should be no reason for you know, a spouse to put their hands on another spouse. And DUIs are one of those dangerous things that, again, people get killed, you know, when they drive intoxicated. And so, you know, the law is very clear that we can't negotiate those cases, and, you know, we follow that. So we still negotiate those cases, but again, it's more what's the type of punishment they're going to get. But other types of cases, I mean, again, it depends on the circumstances, first-time offense. You know, yes, we still plea bargain, you know, a fair amount of misdemeanor cases that start off with maybe a little more serious crime that could cause problems down the road, you know, like a theft crime or something like that, yeah, that we might negotiate it down to something that doesn't look as bad on their record. And you know, assuming that, again, if it's a first-time offense, and, you know, we'll do those types of deals also.
Oh, okay, like petty larceny. Let's say I got busted at Walmart for stealing a ballpoint pen, and yeah, you're not really pushing for any big jail time unless it comes for an habitual violator of some
Well,
type.
unfortunately, we have a tremendous amount of habitual violators who don't seem to get it. But yeah, on a first-time offense, a shoplifting charge, a theft charge, petty larceny charge on your record can stop you from getting employment.
Yeah.
And so, we have to be conscious of that. And, if you're willing to plead guilty to a lesser charge, a lot of times I like using what's called a suspended sentence, as long as you stay out of trouble for a certain period of time. But if you get in trouble again, then you're going to end up with a jail sentence on the first charge, and then you'll end up with a jail sentence on the second charge. So that's another tool that we can use to try to negotiate.
Well, a lot of those cases, do you put it down to like disturbing the peace and just
Frequently, yes.
let it go as that?
Yeah, I mean, that's
'Cause that could virtually be almost anything.
Yeah, and then that would be a typical type of offense that we're getting some punishment out of it. And again, I focus more on the punishment side of that. We're getting something that's going to teach you a lesson that hopefully will make you understand that that's not acceptable behavior, and what we call the charge to get that type of a deal. I think is the least significant part.
Well, people, before you accept one of these deals, you should check into it, because I accepted a deal in San Diego that it turned out what I accepted was worse than if I just let it go through. but you can't really tell sometimes. They picked me up for jaywalking, and they downed it to disturbing the peace.
Yeah, I think I'd rather plead to jaywalking.
My jaywalking was better than the disturbing the peace. But anyway, all right, we're going to go to another break now, and we'll be right back after these messages.